welcome to you all, and especially today's speaker, Ms. Manju Joshi. This is yet another important webinar on the UoS forum, and also on a very important subject of chakras, in both in yoga science and literature. So we have already introduced Ms. Manju Joshi to you briefly in earlier communications. She has started her yoga practice in 15 years and has continued over past 25 years. She has turned her passion into a thriving institution of holistic learning in Texas community, jointly with her husband, Chakras Joshi, and that is called the Gurukul Center for Holistic, I think Gurukul Yoga Holistic Center. That's the name and takes, and they are working through that center. She has been yoga practitioner and teacher, and also the co-founder of Food Yogini, a new initiative founded in 2016 to advocate, educate, consult, and create a marketplace for holistic foods and goods globally. I don't know what it is. I think we should ask her for details. Manjutai has published a book called Goodbye to WTC, that is World Trade Center. That's the story of an individual who helped after that tragedy. It's a must read, and it's available on Amazon. Manju Tai has deepened her practice in yoga, in Kundalini awakening, and other related topics over the past few years, with Sri Vaidya, then Kundalini, with mudras, with mantras, and more. She's active online for Yoga Alliance and APD provider faculty with a focus on chakras and chakra with a focus on chakras demystified. So I would request her to begin, but before that, a couple of points. You see, interestingly, Patanjali Yoga Shastra does not talk about chakras. So that is one issue. You see, the origin of chakras is in Vedas and Upanishads. It is not talked about, but Patanjali has not talked about chakras. He focuses on pranayama, different kinds of pranayama as a means to awakening Kundalini. So
may I interrupt, Ramesh? Actually, Patanjali is aware of the chakra system, where he is clearly mentioning in the third pada, Nabhi Chakra, and the other part where he talks about two chakras, where you have different elements in there.
I see. But
so he's aware of it, but he doesn't discuss it.
He doesn't discuss it. He doesn't specifically mention chakras. Yeah. So that is one point I had in mind, and I should, with that, I don't want to take much time in the introductory part. So Manjutai, why don't you please begin? The floor is yours. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. Namaste all. First of all of you are, very much aware of this chakra and its theory and everything. So there is not something new that I'm not going to share, if that is what you're expecting. It is just the recycled thing, but I just want to, since I am a yoga therapist, we use yoga, the chakra theory or the chakras as a tool to assess the patients. And according to that, I'm just going to discuss few points. But before that, I just want to say some prayers and before I begin the presentation. Okay, so I'm just going to clasp the hands. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Mata Pitrubhyam Namaha, Om Shri Matre Namaha. And now I'll chant the Patanjali praise, because he is the he's assumed as a father or a codifier of yoga. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidyakenam yopakarotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. So Prashant, my husband, is moving the slides. So the first slide is we were blessed by Dr. Nimbalkarji. He's actually a Padma Shri, and he visited our yoga center back in New Jersey in 2010. So we all look, you can see we all look very young there. But we were really blessed by his presence. He graduated our first yoga teacher training students. You know, we had just started the yoga teacher training program, and he came to bless the graduation of that program. So that's what the first slide is. And I'm not really going to look at the slides as much. Just these are for the reference for people and for me, just what to talk. But we will go more deeper. And if you have any questions, if they are really pressing, maybe we can talk while, or we can answer while talking, going through the slides, or maybe we can save it for later, and then we can have more discussion on that. So let's go to the next slide. And that's just the agenda that, we already introduced ourselves, the Patanjali praise, and then we are going to go into really the overview of chakra theory. And I think we need to mute some people.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So, and then I really want to also get into a little bit of practice, not really, Kundalini awakening or something, but something that we can use every day, or we can just be aware of these practices every day. And again, I know you all are familiar with the Kundalini practices and the chakras and all those things. So please don't think that I'm, here to tell you something new. It is just our overview of chakras that we are just going to present. So we can move to the next slide. So, a lot of people, I mean, chakra is like, it is like a common word now, right, in the society. I mean, we live in America, and we have seen like many places, even when we go to beaches and all, you see there is a sign that, chakra assessment or something like that, something related to chakra. They call chakra, they call chakra. A lot of ways, they talk about it, or there are a lot of humors also around this theory. We can see it in the yoga world. But what it is really is chakra, the word chakra, meaning, the Sanskrit word chakra, chakaram karoti, iti chakra, meaning that which spins, it's called chakra. So according to the yoga theory, especially the Tantra, there are several spinning energy centers in our body. There are major, some call it 6, like Shat Chakra Nirupan, describes like 6 major chakras. But usually it is considered as 7 major chakras. And then there are many, many other spinning energy centers in the body, minor energy centers in the subtle body, actually. And you can feel their effects on our physical body as well. So I don't want to go into too much into what is subtle body and all, because I'm sure you all, know a little bit about it. This, the Karan Sharir and the Sukshma Sharir and the Sthula Sharir. So Sukshma Sharir is the subtle body, and that's where we can find these spinning energy centers, which can be felt in our body. I mean, so it's an interesting concept, but it is very practical because we use it in everyday life. And because we are human beings, we have, the body feels various things, and we feel actually these chakras moving through our body. We just don't pay too much attention to it. I mean, they really talk to us. They are they release something called prana, the vital energy. And if you are very enthusiastic, you are doing something, we really feel energetic, and that's where certain energy centers are activated. If you feel dull and all, that prana, the vital energy, is being blocked, and you don't feel that good, and that kind of a thing. So the way we use it in our yoga practice, or in our yoga, the therapy thing, is we really assess people's energy centers and see where the blockage is, and see what is causing that blockage, and then we can suggest few things accordingly. And they talk to us all the time. So if you're attuned to them, we can feel them talking to us. I mean, for example, if you go to some new place, mostly people feel constipated. That's where the first chakra is talking to you that, hey, you know what, I'm not feeling safe here. I don't want to release anything. So, or if you want to give a presentation, often there is a lump in the throat, or you are like your throat is, you're continuously clearing your throat. So that's when your throat chakra is telling you that, hey, you need to relax and maybe take a deep breath, and all shall be well. So that's the way these chakras, they talk to us. So they have various aspects. Each chakra represent various aspects of our life. So it is not like, the lower chakras are bad and the upper chakras are good. It's not like that. They all have various aspects, and we need to understand them and take care of them. Only then we can move forward. So that's what overall the chakra theory is. And then we can go into a little bit more into prana and nadis and what they are. And I know you all most likely know about it, but I just want to emphasize on few things. So let's move to the next slide, which is prana. So the energy that we feel, it rides on this prana. It is called prana, meaning the vital energy, or the energy that we feel all the time, or we don't feel sometimes. So that's a vital energy force. That's a life force. And it is within our body and all around our body, which we call field, right? We all around the body, and it rides typically on prana, or rather on breath, but all our five senses take the prana, continuously take or deplete the prana through our five senses. For example, we see something beautiful out, beautiful nature or something, and you feel energized. So your eyes are receiving prana. We hear beautiful music, and you feel like going into trance. That's when your ears are receiving prana. So we are continuously receiving prana through our five senses. And then we deplete also. If we watch too much of a TV, or we go to movie, and wonderful movie, beautiful movie, but we feel kind of drained after coming home, or if we are watching at home, you feel tired. That's because we have depleted the prana through the eyes. 80% of our prana is depleted through our eyes. So I request you, if you don't want to watch anything, you can close your eyes and just listen. That's also wonderful. And prana is not a new concept, or it is not just the concept that is the yogis, talk about, or the Indians talk about. Many other cultures use this concept, like Chinese, qi, like qigong. You probably have heard qigong, or qigong in like Korean, or ki as in reiki, that is in Japanese, and Vietnamese is ki. So that's not a new concept, but this prana is a universal that force that felt by all the human beings. And one more interesting aspect about this prana is when this energy starts kind of rising in our body, we will go into that later, the Kundalini kind of. So that energy starts rising in the body. The sensations that we feel, like there are like tremors, or there is a shaking, whatever it is, that is felt because something called prana kundalini is being awakened. The first stage of Kundalini awakening is awakening of this prana shakti. And it is trying to go to different nadis, which we are going to go to the next slide again. So it starts going through different nadis, and then it starts clearing up those nadis. And that's when we feel that vital energy in all over the body, which typically we don't feel because there are so many blockages that happen. So what is this? These are nadis. What are the nadis? So that's again just not the Indian concept, but also they are called meridians in various cultures, especially the Chinese. So these nadis, the word is nada. It comes from nada nada, which is a hollow structure. Anything that is a hollow structure is called nada or nada, which nadi, the word Sanskrit word for river is nadi. So nadi is like a hollow kind of a part of the earth where the water flows, of course, but that is really the hollow structure. So nada, nada, these are like interchangeable words. And they are called also meridians in Chinese. If you do the acupressure, acupuncture, they call it meridians. And so there are, according to the yogic theory, there are like 72,000 nadis in our body. They originate from the second chakra, which is the Swadhisthana, around the navel part, and so on. So there are many, many theories. We don't want to go too much into it. But there are three major nadis as described in yoga, which is the major one is, of course, Sushumna, which runs through the spinal column, the middle of the spinal column. And then there are two other nadis, they run parallel to the Sushumna. Of course, this is all according to the yoga theory. And they are called Ida and Pingala. So Ida is activated through the left nostril, and Pingala is activated through the right nostril. Now, Ida is, it's called lunar nostril, or Ida is called a lunar energy, because if you activate this energy, you feel cool, you feel calm, your intuition kind of arises. So that's why it is called Chandra Nadi. And Pingala is called the masculine or the Surya Nadi, because if you breathe through this right nostril, you feel warm, then you can have more logical kind of brain activity activated, and so on. So more like you get more energy. And this is very practical because, we work with patients who have temperature control problem and so on. So if they are feeling constantly cold, we can activate the right nostril by just breathing through the right nostril. It's called Surya Bhedan. So Surya Bhedan pranayam. So they can start feeling the warmth, or if around the noon time, after the meal, maybe around 2-3 o'clock, if we start feeling kind of lethargic or feeling sleepy, if we start breathing through the right nostril, we can bring back our energy. And of course, in the winter time, it's a very good practice if you are living in the cold climate, activating the right nostril would bring some warmth in the body. And we practiced that, in a couple of years back in Texas, we had a big blackout, and 9 days people were without heat and electricity and all those things. Luckily, we had some, but it was very cold. And we did practice, all of us practiced breathing through the right nostril, and it does work. And as opposed to, like if it is very hot, which happens in Texas all the time. So if you breathe through the left nostril, you can also activate the coolness in the body and calmness. So, and it's interesting that, we called a woman, a patni, a wife, Vamangi, because she sits at the left side of a man, right? And, I'm not against feminism. I myself am very much, aware of my feministic side. And I would never like to be called like a left person, kind of like a left meaning somebody subordinate. But that more we started thinking about it, why it is that. Because, left side of the brain controls the right side of the brain. So left brain is more logical, right brain is more intuitive. So if you bring the women energy to your left side, your right brain gets activated, which becomes more intuitive. And then the husband is at the right side of the woman, so her logical side gets activated. So it's a very logical thing. And I really bow to our ancestors, our rishis, munis, who thought about these things without, drawing the brain pictures and all those things. So just a little bit of my understanding of all these things, right? And then you see a caduceus symbol here in the middle, which is a staff, and then around it goes the 2 serpents. So that also kind of symbolizes the Sushumna Nadi, which runs through the spine, and then the 2 nadis around it, the Ida and Pingala, they coil around it, and then they get kind of separated at the 6th chakra. Some people, some theory is that they cross at each chakra, the Ida and Pingala around the Sushumna, but and some people say they cross at the major intersections like the 1st and the 3rd and the 6th and so on. So it's not that important, but since that figure is there, I just wanted to mention that. Then I also studied, as part of my further studies, I studied osteopathy, which is a study of craniosacral kind of part of our body, mostly bones and muscles and so on. So musculoskeletal system is the most important part of that study. And while studying that, we had to study neurology also. And very recently, the yoga theory says that, there is Sushumna Nadi, but within that Nadi, there is something called Chitridi Nadi that goes through the spine, through that Sushumna, which connects directly to the 6th chakra, which starts from the 1st chakra, the base chakra, and it reaches to the 6th chakra. And recently, and it is described as bisatantuiva, meaning a very thin strand of the lotus stem, very thin. And recently they found out, indeed, there is a nerve that goes through our spine, which connects directly to the sixth, the pineal gland, which is where the sixth chakra is located. So it goes from the coccygeal plexus, which is at the coccyx region, and it goes to the brain directly. And if we activate that, the Kundalini Shakti, the Prana Shakti directly reaches the sixth chakra through some breathing techniques and all. So just a little bit of information there. I hope I'm not boring you that much. So let's move to the next slide. So, coming back from this conversation about the neurons and all those things, it is very, very interesting that each chakra, it is represented by certain lotus petals. And as you know, lotus flower is very, very popular in our Indian culture. Our Kamala, the Lakshmi sits on the lotus, and a lot of our gods and goddesses have lotus flower in their hand. And also there is and all of you most likely know it. I'm just repeating it. Please don't think that I'm just trying to tell you something new here. But typically lotus doesn't come in regular kind of fresh water or something. It always rises from the muddy water, and then always goes towards the sun. So similarly, that's the symbol that we have here, that our life starts in a murky kind of a samsara, so to speak. Or even if you see the Mooladhara place, which is at the base of the spine, coccygeal region, where our excretion organs are located. So literally it sits in the mud, and then it has the potential to rise up, right? And that is the goal of the human life, that we need not be focusing on the muddy part of the life, but we need to rise up all the time. So the lotus petals are symbolized here to describe each chakra. Like, for example, the first chakra, there are like 4 lotus petals there, and then there are bija mantras on the each petal, as well as there is a main bija mantra, which is Lam. And interestingly, when I was studying again the neurology part of the osteopathy training, so the spine has neurons go through it, the nerves go through it, and they form various plexuses in the body. Plexus means some the nerves come together and they form a little bit of center, and it is called plexus. And there is a slide there for that. It's little hard to see, but there is a coccyx, that means the really base of the spine. It's a coccygeal plexus, and it has 2 major nerves come together. And typically when the plexus happens, the nerves come together and they bifurcate, they split, and they become, so 2 becomes 4. And that's exactly what is represented by the 4 petals. I mean, science is catching up now with the yogic science. So there are 4 petals. The coccygeal plexus has 4, basically 2 nerves split, and they serve certain areas of our body, which is like lower part of the body, the legs, and the coccygeal area. And then there is we all are familiar with, or the word is very familiar, it is called solar plexus, which is below the rib cage and above our navel. And it has 5 nerves come together, major nerves, and they serve the major parts of the abdominal organs. And as you have guessed, the lotus petals, there are 10. So there is a bija mantra, and each petal has their own mantras. And there is a lot of research, going on these bija mantras. Mantras is like a hack, like if you just chant the mantras really attentively, you can actually release the blocked energy from those areas. So really those petals, if you chant the bija mantra of that particular chakra and then chant the bija mantras of the petal mantras, you may be able to free up a lot of energy, saturated in that particular area. Your chest, that is that's where the 12 petals are there. And one of the bija mantra of the petal is ta and tha. 2 petals have ta and tha. So if you keep saying tha, 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 it opens up something in the heart. So Vithala, 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 it actually activates the heart energy center, or the nerves around the heart energy center. So it's very interesting. Like there is a ka in the same 12 petals of the heart chakra. There is a ka, kha, ga. These are all our Sanskrit sounds. Ka, kha, ga. So if you chant ka, 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 it activates the liver. You can try it yourself. You can put your hand below your chest, at the right side, and just say ka. Please mute yourself so that if not everybody will listen, and you will see that that area is being activated, like ka, ka, ka. You can feel that. So it's very interesting and very fascinating, as while studying the medical science and studying the chakras, it's very interesting to see this correlation to that. Okay, so if you have any questions, if you want me to pause, if it is too much, please let me know, because I can keep on talking, and usually Prashant sleep, go to sleep. So please let me know if you have any questions, or should I go on?
I think you should go on, and after about 30 minutes, we can open up for question and answers. So
okay,
please
all right. So
questions, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So let's go to the next slide then. So the Kundalini is, much talked about thing in the yogic world, right? And nowadays everybody is talking about it. So Kundala means to coil up, right? So Kundalini Shakti is a coiled up the energy in human beings, and it is so powerful that if it is released through the sexual act, it has power to create another life. So that's why the yogis say that rather than releasing it downwards all the time or sideways, how do we do sideways? We with our life experiences, we use this energy to survive. Like, if you're constantly in fear or judgmental or anger, this energy is being used to feed those things. So instead, what the yogis say is save that energy, hold that energy in, and take it upwards, because it has potential not just to awaken your consciousness, but if you have any other diseases, that can be healed too. And there is a lot of research going on all over the world about this theory, and you can attend workshops on that and all those things. So through various breathing techniques and all those things, just by becoming aware of each energy center and raising the energy up and up, people have overcome their physical, mental challenges. Although it is seemed like a miracle, actually it is all we are doing is we are using our own energy to heal ourselves. And just be frank with ourselves, without healing, we are not able to raise our consciousness. So if we have, you know, a lot of anger issue, if we have a lot of ego issue, if we have diseases in the body, like simple thing, like if you have simple cold, you are not able to focus on, you know, day-to-day life as much. So why not, you know, be free of those things, so that all we can do is raise this energy up while, you know, healing our body. Because you know, when we are in a healing kind of business, we need to make people understand that the power is within us. It is not that a medical professional or a healer or somebody from outside is going to heal you. It is your own energy. If you free it up, it can heal you. So that is the Kundalini energy. It is a vital force. It moves all around. You know, it is kind of coiled up in the first energy center, which is called Muladhara. And then once it is awakened through various techniques, or sometimes it is awakened accidentally, you know, if you take psychedelic drugs or something like that, or by Guru's grace, you know, if you are ready and if Guru touches your certain area, it can be awakened. But, you know, it's a very delicate process. So one has to be very careful while teaching Kundalini yoga or trying to awaken your own energy or somebody else's, because again, Tantra is very, very specific about all the obstacles that we have on this path. So it has, you know, various symbols for various chakras, and then there are different devatas for various chakras, and there are sub-devatas. So like if you have heard the names like Shakini, Dakini, Lakini, those kind of names. So Dakini is seated at the first energy center, which is a Muladhara. And if you kind of peel the onion, or if you are with a good guru, the guru will tell you that Dakini is actually a nadi. It's a meridian. It's a nadi that is being blocked. You know, if the Kundalini starts awakening, and it's a huge force, your body cannot take it. So these nadis, these Dakini nadis, are the sideways nadis, and they will block the energy from rising up without you being ready for it. Otherwise, it can create a havoc in the body. So when they say that you must bow to the Dakini, meaning you must free the energy from the Dakini nadi, or the Shakini nadi, or the Hakini nadi, whatever it is, you know, in those areas. So they are very, very kind of specific about these instructions, and for that reason, you know, there are recommendations for various yoga poses, because whatever experiences we take in life, they go into our physical body, and they get saturated, especially in the lower 3 chakras. And through certain yogic postures and breathing techniques, and you know, the mantra practice, and then of course meditation, we try to free up that energy, and then only that energy can rise safely in the body. Otherwise, you know, there are a lot of examples of people going crazy, not being able to function in normal life, and so on. So that's just about a little bit about Kundalini, and then if you have more questions, we can of course talk about it, but I just don't want to take too much of your time here. So we can go again to the next slide. So there are 7 major chakras, right, in the body, as we talked about it. So the base of the spine is the first chakra, which is called Mooladhar, and the words they themselves are kind of self-explanatory. Kind of Moola means the root, the origin. So Adhara is base, right? So the Mooladhar is the base, kind of our energy center. That is the base. If the base is strong, then you can rise up, so to speak, just like a tree. The second is called the Swadhisthana, which is below the navel. So that area is called Swadhisthana. It is also called Hara in Japanese. So Harakari, you probably have heard those words. And if you have done martial arts, and also, that Hara area is very much protected by those martial art people. So that's Swadhisthana, means the abode of the self. That's where your really life really starts from. You start understanding life from the second chakra, the self place, basically. The third is called the Manipur, which is a shining jewel kind of a center, and it is below your the rib cage and above the navel, somewhere there, the solar plexus area. And then the fourth one is called Anahat, which is at the heart. Anahat meaning unstruck. So once the energy reaches this area, you start hearing the sound Om, kind of, without being, to create a sound, you have to have something, right? You have to have, you clap and there is a sound. Something has to stuck against something to create a sound. But Anahat means unstruck, meaning it happens automatically. It is done without any other object coming in between. So that's the Anahat. Then the throat area is called Vishuddha, meaning pure, extremely pure. Then the Ajna is between the eyebrows, and it is, of course, related to your pineal gland. And then there is the Sahasrar, which is the seventh chakra, which is the center of your head, basically. So according to the, again, Shat Chakra Nirupan and some Tantra, one can raise the Kundalini up to the sixth chakra, and then one has to wait for the grace to descend. And that comes from the eighth chakra to seventh chakra. And then it kind of, the whole experience of awakening happens, or the whole union of Shiva and Shakti and all those theories, it happens. Basically, you get enlightened only through the grace of the divine. So that's why they describe only sixth chakra, and seventh you wait for the grace. Again, everything is personal experience, so I don't want to go too much into it, but I just wanted you to let you know the theory behind it. All right, so maybe I'll just take a sip of water. Just hold on. So each chakra, as we mentioned, they have bija mantras, and also each chakra is represented by element. So the first chakra is the grossest one. It has, just for the simplification, we have taken accepted the spectrum kind of colors for each chakra. So the first chakra is Mooladhar, which is represented by red color, because it is the easiest to see, but in actual yoga text, there are different colors described for this particular chakra. Even golden is described, or Rakta Shonit, meaning kind of a maroon, or anything to do with the earth. This element of this chakra is earth. So anything any color of the earth is represented in this chakra. So element is earth. Then the second chakra is represented by the color orange. And again, in original text, there are different colors. Golden is very common. White also is there. But we will just take it here, orange. It is, the element is water. So from gross, we are going a little bit ahead, fluid, the life has to flow from this chakra. So water is represented. And then there are, of course, each element has certain sense organ also. So earth is represented by the sense of smell. And that is very prominent in most of the animals. Humans, we don't have that much strong sense of smell, but a lot of other animals, they have strong sense of smell because it is related to survival. I mean, if you give a child anything, they will first smell it and taste it, right? So that is the survival thing. And if we are still doing it after a certain age, that means we need to pay attention to our first energy center, because we are not trusting what is given to us. So just a little theory there. Then the third chakra is fire. And the second chakra is water, right? And it is related to the water. And what is water represented by? So smell, taste. Yeah, taste is water. Then the third one is fire. And fire is represented by sight. Then the fourth, the heart, is represented by air, and it is touch. And the fifth one is the Vishuddha chakra is ether, and shabda, akasha is represented by shabda, or the sound. And then the about two chakras, they don't have any elements, so they are beyond elements. But you can say Ajna chakra can be like a tage, because once the Ajna chakra is activated, you can see light. The pineal gland is called third eye. It has sensory things like eyes, our regular eye. So people can see light once this chakra is activated. So you can say light is that, or you can say mind is related to the sixth center, and the seventh one is thought only. So everything, merges into thought. And if you see, only the first 5 chakras have elements. They are, that's why we called it prapancha, right? Pancha Mahabhutas. So that is what it is. The Pancha Mahabhutas, that is, we are typically caught up in the Pancha Mahabhutas, meaning the first 5 chakras. And that's why we are also called prapanchika, right? We are, the people who are in the prapancha are called prapanchika. And people who have renounced that, they are the renunciates. They are beyond the prapancha. So once our energy reaches above the actually 4th one, which is a lighter one, we start going beyond elements, and then we can reach the higher state of mind and consciousness and so on. So that's just a little understanding of prapancha. So let's move on again. Like we said, each one governs certain aspect of our consciousness. So who we are is represented by the first chakra. And this is, again, I'm talking about in a practical way only. And but to raise the Kundalini, we have to understand, that we have to get rid of a lot of stuff. Then only the Kundalini rises. With a lot of heaviness in the lower chakras, our consciousness do not rise or does not rise. So the first chakra is who you are, meaning literally who you are, what is your birthplace, which clan you are born in, what is your tribe. All those things are related to the first chakra. And then from there arises a lot of different things. If you feel comfortable, first of all, are you comfortable being born on the earth? A lot of people nowadays feel that, oh, they don't belong to the earth, kind of, it's a very sad place, and then so on. So are you comfortable being in your own surroundings? Are you comfortable being with your family? All those things, as a child, it starts arising. And if there are some childhood traumas, you disassociate with your surroundings, your body, and so on. And then your whole energy that should be used to raise the consciousness goes in just taking care of those kind of your emotions or your physical elements that arise from there. So a lot of people, they go into extreme sports. If they don't want to feel associated with the body, they can go into extreme sports or like a rock climber and those kind of things. Nothing wrong in those sports. I'm just letting you know that there could be some reason behind it too. And if you are, if you like your family, you are kind of comfortable in your surroundings and all, you feel secure and all those things, then you can think of, going up basically, or exploring the world. Otherwise, you are just caught up in the first chakra, trying to root yourself in the world basically, and all the energy goes in that. Then the second chakra is how you feel. Basically, all the raw emotions start from here. Also, it is a center of creativity. Your creativity starts like that first instinct to draw or sing or whatever it is, it starts from there. And you can see in little children, like older than like 2-3 years old. And we have seen it all the time in our own children, and if we look back, we can see in our own life too. So all the raw emotions, they start here. Friendship can start from this particular center, and so on. So I don't want to go too much into all these things, but we just want to touch base here. Then the third chakra is about your self-esteem. Do you feel comfortable being certain person? Like, do you have enough self-esteem? If it is not there, then you can be very shy, or if narcissist personality can arise from here. Anger is a big issue of this particular area, and so on. So control, you try to control. Remember, the element here is fire. So fire can be very soothing. Fire is necessary to even get up in the morning. The energy, fire is energy. Energy is necessary, but if it is too much, it can burn you and other people too. So that means anger, or too much, too much energetic people, you feel burnout with them. So if the boss is like too energetic, the employees, they feel burnout kind of. So that's the thing there. And these are all practical issues, but they do help us understand what we need to take care of in our own life, basically. Then the fourth is how you love yourself and others. Typically, people, in today's world, we are very cautious, very careful, because we are always afraid that somebody will take advantage of us and all. So we do not give freely, or we do not receive freely. So that becomes the issue for this particular chakra. The fifth one is how you kind of talk or express yourself. Do you express your truth, or you're hiding something and only talking, to please others, or whatever is good for others, you just talk like that. Or some people are just very harsh. So communication is a problem for some people, and that's where the this chakra is part of that problem. Basically, that's the part of the chakra Vishuddha. So how you express your truth is represented by the Vishuddha chakra. Then the sixth one is the Ajna, which is really command, and it's also intuition. Physiologically, anatomically, that's the area where there are major glands located, and they really do take control of the whole endocrine system. So that's why Ajna is the right word there too. So Ajna is your intuition. A lot of the people, who are successful in the businesses and life, they have good intuition. Actually, intuition starts from the third chakra, your gut feeling, and then it kind of gets developed, or you start trusting in your sixth center. And the seventh is your connection to the divine, and it has nothing to do with any particular deity or so. It is just that we all have that intelligent energy within us, intelligence within us, which is called the in Vedanta and all, it is the Antaryamin, right? The Antaryamin meaning the indweller. So how we are connected to that inner intelligence is the seventh chakra, basically, who runs the whole body without we thinking about it every day. And what happens, I was studying this anatomy, physiology, and we were studying various things like how our, if we are wounded, how the skin starts forming and all those things. And it's really fascinating. Who created all these things? How does the body know what to do? How does the body know that the liver will function, the liver cells will function as only liver cells and not as heart cells? Who put that intelligence in that? So every cell has the intelligence, and do we really get connected to it? That's what this connection to the divine is, that is inside us. Okay, so I hope we have enough time and we can go to the next. So in our, we do this chakra as a course, and we go through each chakra in depth, and we talk about it and what are the aspects on it. But today we don't have much time, so I have just chosen this heart chakra, and just going to go through a little bit of it on that. And and I'll just let you know one a case that was really fascinating. I have many stories, but I don't have much time. But so the heart chakra is, again, the color is green or pink, or light green, pink is the color for this, located behind your heart at the sternum. That's where you feel it. Actually, it is in the subtle body. The element, as we have seen, it is air. The kind of sense is the touch. We use that all the time, right? This heart chakra, the touch, oh, it touched my heart. We use these phrases, right? It's very touching. And it literally is for the heart, So the element is air, and the sense is touch. So heartwarming, heart touch, touch my heart, and so on. So we use those phrases all the time. or we literally touch. I mean, if we hear something, something sad news or so, immediately our hand goes to our heart, to give that energy to the heart. So the touch can heal, that touch can, that's why we call the hands as healing hands. There are a lot of chakras in that. We'll do some practicum on that too. And the heart chakra is called the Hridaya chakra also, because it is at the place of the Hridaya, meaning heart. So interesting. I'm sure you know it, but I'm just reminding you what it is. So Hridaya, Ru-da-ya. These are the three words, letters in the word Hridaya. Ru means to take. Ru harati means to take. Da dadati, da dadati means to give, and yam is to circulate. And that's what the Hridaya does, right? I mean, it takes from one side, purifies at the lungs, and then gives from the other side. And that explains the whole function of the Hridaya chakra, that we need to accept the love. We are accepting the love. We are accepting the life experiences, but we need to purify them, right? And that happens in the lung basically, but in our experience, we need to purify them. You cannot just accept whatever it is and then circulate throughout the body, right? We have to purify them and then you circulate. Otherwise, your body stops functioning. If you accept everything in life and do not have a judgment on that, and then function according to your experiences, then we do not function well in the life basically. So we need to accept the love, of course, and we also need to give. So otherwise, there are a lot of things happen like isolation and all those things, because we are simply not able to accept the love. So there are some keywords and all. We don't want to go through all those things, but just the major aspects of it. And then we talk about some asanas to open up this area, which is like heart opening asanas, the camel pose and those kind of things, which we don't want to go too much, but just one example. One thing I remember that when we were doing advanced teacher training program in our center back in New Jersey. We were in New Jersey for many years, by the way, and we moved to Austin, Texas in 2013. So almost 25 years we were on the East Coast. So one of the advanced student, we were doing the heart opening poses like this camel pose that I mentioned, and she refused to do it. And she said, I won't do it. And I said, why? She said, no, I don't feel like doing it. I never do heart opening poses. And I said, no, because since you are going to teach, I want to see if you can do it. And then I assisted her and she did it. And as soon as she did the camel pose, which is backward bend while sitting, and it opened up her heart and she started crying, like literally crying like a baby. Something just opened up. So that shows that we should never underestimate the power of simple yoga poses. They literally open up the meridians, they open up the nadis, and then a lot of stuff can come out and get released. Basically, we need to release stuff to rise up. So that was one great example. Then to harmonize it, we can use some crystals or jamestones, like a jade, like a green jade, or a rose quartz, or emerald, something like that. If you wear it, you wear the clothing of that color, we can use that, and so on, right? Now we can go to the next one. That's fine. So I just don't want to go too much into it, but I am just letting you know. So what happens when this center is harmonized, meaning you're functioning well with this, you are okay with this, is obviously you accept and give love freely. you are able to be friends with a lot of people without having too much of a conflict and all those things. But if it is not harmonized, we can give love, but it is hard to accept love, especially for men, it is very difficult. And women, obviously, they give a lot, and they most likely don't receive back. It's not like they don't want to accept, they just don't receive it back, and that can create some physical, emotional problems and so on. Or people become isolated, because they are just not able to open their heart. Alcohol is a big problem for heart chakra imbalance. And or there are some physical problems arise. If there is too much sadness, the lungs get affected, the heart gets affected. Or in women, there are some breast problems can arise, so a lot of physical issues can be related to these things. And basically what we are trying to tell here is, this is not just esoteric, these are practical things. And since we live in a practical world, the whole goal of anything that spiritual practice that we do is to heal ourselves and to heal others. And understanding these chakras, the meaning behind each one and all those things, it can literally liberate us and others, heal others. So I just give you one example and then we can conclude. Back in 2010, I guess, when we were in New Jersey, we had a patient, we can call him Sam. He was an Irish Italian American. And at age 40, he had a heart attack, which is, we call it as a widowmaker heart attack, very massive. And this guy, somebody suggested us that they should see us. So he came to us. He was a very kind of a successful businessman, builder, so to speak. So very rich and all. And he just walked in. He said, somebody suggested, can you take me in? So I said, okay, let's do a session. And typically before the session, I assess the chakras. I have my own ways. I do Reiki, so I can use my hands for that, or I have a pendulum and all those things. So I assess the chakras, seeing what they talk to me, because like I said, the chakras really talk to you, what is being blocked and all those things. So I assessed that. And I asked him certain questions, like specific questions, like, do you drive a black car, or did you drive a red car when you were young, or do you have some phobias, especially the height or the flying and those kind of things. And he nodded yes for everything. And then I asked him, well, Sam, do you have a closet that is really neatly organized and all? And he was very uncomfortable because he said yes, but I don't, I don't compel my wife to have the same way. I just do it like my closet is color coordinated and all those things. And he said, lady, either you talk to my wife or you are a psychic. How did you know all these things? And we both laughed, and I said, look, you just walked in today. I didn't know you. I don't know you even had a wife or whatever, but your chakras talk to me. And that's how, it's really, really fascinating that he had all the issues that we can pick up just by assessing his energy, where it was blocked and how it is not working for certain areas and all those things. And long story short, within few months, actually, he overcame a lot of his issues. One day he just called me, he said, hey, Manju, guess where I am? I am going to Florida and I'm in the plane. This guy never flew in his life. He never went anywhere, and he was flying, he was happy. And it's been almost 12 years now, and he is still in good condition, no heart problem, nothing. There were some other issues that has caused this problem. We talked about them and released that energy through various things. So anyway, so that was my little presentation. I hope it was not too much to take, or too superficial, but I feel that if we can assess ourselves, assess others, not in a judgmental way, but for a healing kind of a way, I think we can heal each other and ourselves. So thank you very much for this opportunity. And, we can pause, and if anybody has any question, please let me know. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Manju. Thank you very much. This was an excellent presentation. It's a complex, challenging subject, to understand and practice. But it was a great presentation. I think we'll invite questions and comments. But before that, as you said that Chakra, Sushumna Nadi moves the prana. It's based on prana, and prana is pervasive. So the literature talks about Sthula Sharir and Sukshma Sharir. You didn't mention that particular point. How do you relate the two? Because ultimately, Sthula Sharir is energized by the Sukshma Sharir. Yeah. So that's one.
Yeah. So we talked about that these chakras are in the Sukshma Sharir, but you feel it in your physical body.
Exactly.
Like, the prana that is being taken in the Sukshma Sharir, that before even any disease starts, it starts actually in the Sukshma Sharir. And similarly, anything that we take, it comes from the Sukshma Sharir. That means our impressions are there. Or, before it hits, it's like a barrier. Before it hits the physical body, it goes to the Sukshma Sharira first. And Sushumna and all those things, although they are in the Sukshma Sharir, but you can still feel them in your physical body when you take a breath. Like I actually mentioned that I will do some practice. So maybe this is the time, maybe we can take an opportunity to do some practice maybe.
For 5 minutes, let's see what comments, questions are, so you can cover them.
Yeah.
In a practice session. So Dr. Narayanan, Rajan Narayanan, who is the founder and yoga teacher of Life in Yoga, he has a lot of experience in the area. Dr. Narayanan, you were asking about how to energize various chakras. What is exactly the philosophy and the practice behind it. Yeah. So can you take a couple of minutes and clarify? You asked that question. Yeah. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Why don't we keep that for the next session?
No, we don't know. Oh, you mean for transcendental meditation?
We can. They are all related, so we can address some of those subjects there. You see, essentially, what it is what Manju Joshi expressed is a reasonable, way in which most often it is expressed, right? So perhaps it'll be more interesting to hear when your chakra awakened and what was your experience.
You are asking me or asking Manju?
No, asking Manju Joshi.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, please.
So, I do my own practice. It is not to be discussed in public, so to speak, but all I can say is, I can definitely feel the prana Kundalini awakening. There were various vibrations in the body initially, and most importantly, what I felt was they are just to keep me in the present moment, because if your body is vibrating and all, obviously your focus goes in that area, and then you remain in the present moment. And when this energy starts moving in a certain way and all, you definitely feel the movement in your spine and all. But the most important thing that I felt was a lot of the things being released, you know, I no longer remain judgmental, or you know, a lot of the anger issues gone, or I'm not no longer became or remain materialistic, and those kind of things. So I think that is the most important thing that that I can tell, that that is the experience of the awakening. It is not just the physical sensations, or I see light all the time. As soon as I close my eyes, I see the light. That's not really the issue. You know, if the life has not changed, then that just becomes the physical sensations that we enjoy. And that's, I don't think that is the goal of the Kundalini awakening. It is always to be a better person and spread that healing. I also got healed many ways, you know, in the physical issues also, and so on. So I hope that answers the question, that it is not just the physical sensations, but overall betterment of the life for myself and for the patients that I see.
Thank you very much. What you have just mentioned is what, Swami Rama and various other yogis, this Kundalini Jagaran is not what they talk about. They talk about spiritual maturity. So what they talk about is each one of these chakras. The Muladhara, your thinking is more in survival mode. Swadhisthana, you're in self-centered mode. Manipura, you're group-centered mode. Anahata, you're in humanitarian mode. Vishuddhi Chakra, you're in the mode of wonderment. What is beyond the questions and this thing? And then Agnya Chakra, the seat of assumptions of what it is beyond the physical existence. And Sahasrara Chakra, when you get the feeling, well, who cares? It's all about you, that Vairagya Bhav that comes. So the people in these traditions, they don't talk about Kundalini Jagaran and all the things that happen, but they talk about how a person evolves spiritually. And that is what they talk about. And in fact, what it is Swami Rama and Swami Ved Bharati. If people came and said their Kundalini has awakened and they are feeling all vibrations all over, they'll tell them, you're a madman, get out of here.
Anyway, but yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Again, what happened? This is so important, that this is all about evolution. It's all about maturing, because otherwise we are, the reason why there's a Valya became Valmiki. It is all of us have a Valya in us, and this whole practice is all about that. So that's why, unfortunately, the dramatization happens, commercialization happens, and we forget the essence of all of this. And that's why we're trying to keep it at a very simple level, that at the end of the day, it's about evolution and becoming that mature, going from a human to a divine. That's our evolution. That's our potential. So anyway, Manju, I think people are expecting some practice. So maybe that's it's worth doing that. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, one final question, Naran, and while you and Manjuji, is can we compare Sahasrara with consciousness, pure consciousness, Advaita?
No. You see, what happens is when you use a word like consciousness, from a yoga perspective, the correct word is chitta. But people often say chitta as also mind, which is not quite accurate. Mind is part of the chitta. So any case, the thing is, the seat of consciousness is considered the Agnya Chakra. And the thing is, you see, the Sahasrara Chakra is, it is interesting. In one system of Tantra, the concept of Shiva as Triambakam, the three-eyed, is looked upon not as the two eyes here and the third eye there, but rather it is looked upon as one eye is the Agnya Chakra, the other eye is the place that Narayana Sukta describes, in the xiphoid process behind the lowermost part of the sternum, and then that is considered the transmitter, or where the soul exists within the body. And then the Sahasrara Chakra is considered the third eye, which is the protector of the purpose for this life. So that is how it is understood. It may differ over here, but I think Manjuji, you carry on with the practice.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's a good explanation. Right. Thank you. So, so simple practices.
Excuse me. Who is calling?
Prabhakar Kulkarni, Nashik.
Now, oh, yes, Prabhakar. Please. And Manju, give him one. Yeah, Prabhakar, go ahead.
So every chakra has his devata, Shakini, Dakini, and like that.
Right.
She couldn't explain it. And actually, where is the location of the chakra? Where is the location? Where is the spot of the chakra? The location. There are many difference of opinion about the spot, about the location. Then heart chakra is different chakra. Anahat chakra is different chakra. Because they are two chakras. Heart chakra is different chakra, in my opinion. Then there are siddhis. Every chakra has its siddhi. So please explain it.
Yes.
The thing is, I think we should look at this forum as what we can learn from here.
Yeah.
And there is a limited amount of time. Manjuji offers a course on this.
Yeah.
So
maybe we'll come back to that. Manjuji, I think you should go ahead and.
Yeah. I mean, basically, we just cannot go too deep into everything because not everybody is familiar with all the things. It is too deep.
Yeah.
This is just in 1 hour. I cannot go into what
absolutely.
each Shakti is, where each chakra is exactly, because nobody really knows. It is all written, but it is experiential thing. So rather we experience it than just talk about it, right? And there are many books also are available and all. It's not like, I don't want to do these things. It's not like that. It just simply we don't have much time, and the audience may not be ready for going into that depth.
Yeah,
so sorry
true.
about that.
Go ahead. Go ahead with your practice.
When you end with some practice, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just going to do that. So all we can do is, typically we take deep breaths and all. So just to invite ourselves, which is going, our senses are going all around and everything. And just to bring that consciousness in, what we will do is we'll just close the eyes, and through the breath, we will just keep inviting our consciousness in without taking deep breaths. Initially, you may want to take deep breath and just, settle down, keep your spine straight, and then keep inviting that breath inside without doing much effort, and that's how you start relaxing your body also. And I'll guide you through that, but just letting you know what happens is, so when you take a deep breath, you are forcing it in, but when you invite, you're gently asking your consciousness to come back to you, and then you start taking it in, and you see somewhere you will feel the blockage, that it can be like stuck maybe at the throat or the heart or the third energy center, which is below the rib cage or so. And that's where you assess yourself, like where you are stuck sometimes, at this point of life. Not all the time, but maybe now. So we'll do that practice. Then I'll show you a simple breath work, like the taking the energies a little bit up, like just giving that ajna, or just the nudge to the energy to move upward. So we can do that a little bit, and then Om, and then we can conclude. So let's just sit nice and tall, if possible, and keep the shoulders apart. I mean, shoulders a little bit spread out, and chin slightly down, and close your eyes. Relax your face, very important. And maybe take a deep breath in the usual way that you do, yogic breath, expanding your chest, the rib cage, and so on. And exhale out slowly. And maybe do it one more time. Take a deep breath. And exhale out. And now just invite the breath in, meaning just bring your consciousness in with the breath. Notice how it is sliding down. And you can keep breathing out slowly as well. So do it for a few times. Just allow the breath in and out without any effort. And then if you want to take a deep breath again. Good. So now you feel kind of, settled in your body. And then we call it Ashwini Mudra in Kriya Yoga. So what it is you inhale kind of through your mouth, like twice, contracting the pelvic area. The bija mantra for the first chakra is called Lam. Okay. So even if you say Lam, your pelvic area gets contracted. It automatically goes into a light Mula Bandha, right? So let's see if we can do that. Just say Lam and see how your pelvic area gets contracted. And that is also one way of giving the signal to our body that, hey, let's raise the energy up and not let it go down, basically. So, and then you do the breath twice like this. Through your mouth, you inhale twice. So that means, giving that area the signal that we need to raise the energy up. So let's do it. One more time. Be careful if you have any trouble in that area. Just be very careful. So what it does is it gives the signal to energy to rise up. And then if you say Lam, like Lam, 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 you automatically start contracting that area and start pushing that energy upwards. So even if that much we can do, that is, that immediately start that energy to move upwards, basically. So if you have any, trouble with the first energy center, if you just keep doing this, it start releasing a lot of, trapped energy over there. So, and then if you want, we can do it one more time. Lam, 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 Lam. And then release. and then just 3 Om. So there are a lot of techniques for Om, but we'll just do it, everybody's familiar with. So just say Om for 3 times. We inhale and then exhaling, we chant Om. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Namaste.
Thank you very much. Thanks for this excellent presentation. And I think we should have more of this practice done as we go along. So we will organize. Thanks everyone for participating. Our next event is on August 6th by Dr. Rajan Narayanan on what is transcendental meditation. That is number 1. Please send your email ID so we can connect with you again. Please do participate. Second, please send your questions, if any, on this subject or any other subject. Number 3, and stay connected and begin yoga practice. That's all we can say right now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Manjuji. Beautiful presentation. Thank you.
Open for comment. I can keep open the site, and anybody wants to speak, you are free to open. But the session is closed.
Sorry, I mean, I hope I have not disappointed people who are looking for some esoteric thing, which I already explained, because I don't want to go too deep.
No, you are not. You have done an excellent job.
No, it was a great presentation. Enjoyed it immensely.
Absolutely. There was one point raised by Dr. Anaga Barve. I don't know whether she's still here. Whether some asanas can help for Kundalini awakening and Chakra awakening. Which are asanas? That is one question.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that even during the heart opening, heart chakra, that of course, there are many asana practices which physically open you up, physically frees up the energy, right? So asana practice, at least initially when the sadhak is still on this path, I think it is a very, very necessary to do some asana practice every day to release everyday energy, basically.
Anybody else has anything to say?
Yes, this is Raj. So I enjoyed this experience of Muladhara Chakra. This is the first time I did that breathing practice, and it was a different experience. So it will help for people like myself who are just beginning and don't have time to read much about it. But if you can help us follow some guidelines, follow some practices, it will help us to self-experience it.
I think we can arrange a practice session, right? Manjuji, where we can have one more session to actual practice.
I mean, we can do that. I mean, I always, more than talking, I always like to do. This talking is only as a, like just to give some overview of what it is. But practice is always is what we like to do.
Mr. Chandra is here. Nandriji.
Have a part 2. It would be great if we can have a part 2 of a practice session.
Yeah.
Agree.
We will try to get organized on that.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
this
you.
was excellent.
Thank you.
Very, very
Thank
in-depth
you.
and very, very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting.
Chandra Ranade always has some questions. Chandra? Is he there? No. I think no more comments. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Rajagopal,
Thank
you
you.
were here. Rajagopal? Hello? I think he left. Anyway, thank you once again.
Thank you.
And we'll plan a practice session at your convenience.
Ramesh, I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I was looking for you. I was calling.
No, I just went up. Can I ask a question?
Sure, sure.
I read a book by Wisam Vadimbe on Ashtanga Yoga and Kundalini Shastra. And in that book, he writes that for Kundalini Shastra, there is no need for any asanas. One can have Kundalini Jagrati without yoga, basically. Is it correct that I have read properly or I am wrong?
You have any?
When if you everybody has their own experiences and opinions. Since I came from the yoga background and I actually work with people as a therapist, I feel that it is important to have the asana practice as well, so that the energy gets kind of freed up naturally. What happens with Kundalini energy? Yes, you don't have to have asanas. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to follow diet or anything. But what happens is, if it is not regulated properly, or if there are channels, those are not open, it can harm the person. It can start finding the channels, those are open, and it's a very forceful energy. Please remember that. It has power to create another life, right? So it is a very powerful energy. So when it goes upwards and finds path that is blocked, it will try to open it forcefully. And a lot of people have gone through really excruciating, painful experiences. So why not go safe? That's all we can say.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your answer.
Thank you. Okay, so if everybody's okay, I think we shall call it a night maybe, or a day, or Deshpandeji can start his day in India.
Sorry,
Any
I was
question,
on mute.
or?
I was on mute. In Buddhism,
Okay.
in Buddhism, there are 4 chakras. And our Hindu practice, I don't know whether that is the way to call it, but Sanatana practice is 7 chakras. What is that difference?
See, everybody has their own energy system, so to speak. There are many chakras. There are sub chakras, like somebody was mentioning. There are not just 7 chakras. There are 12 chakras. So everybody has their own practices. All we have to remember is these are energy centers that people have perceived and experienced, and they have taught accordingly. I cannot comment too much on this because I have not read much about the Buddhism. So I really cannot answer on that kind of thing.
And also, we don't have to, it's already late, we can stop. But pranayama practices, Patanjali talks about pranayama practices to awaken Kundalini. He has given different. It doesn't specifically refer to chakras. That is fine. So we are not really discussed the role of pranayama, different types of pranayama in awakening chakras. Well, you don't have to respond now. It's already late, but this is another question that was coming.
No, the whole Kriya Yoga is see, what is Kundalini awakening? Basically, it pierces through each chakra.
Yeah.
So even if he doesn't mention about the chakras, he meant it like each chakra is being pierced, meaning the energy over there is being freed, and then only it can go to the other chakra, basically. And that's how the path of the Kundalini is. It doesn't have any other path. It just goes through each chakra.
No, prana is the
So,
key.
all
Pranayama
the-
is the key, Rameshji. Yeah, pranayama
Pranayama
is the key.
is yeah. So all the Kriya Yoga is all
Going
about
from gross to
awakening the
subtler. Yeah.
right. So yeah, so of course pranayama practice. What we did is one of the kriyas, basically, one of the awakening of the Kundalini kriyas.
So pranayama is a big
So-
role. Pranayama is a big role in Kundalini. I mean, it helps or it accelerates probably Kundalini awakening. I don't know. I mean, that's
Right.
could
Yeah.
be. It depends on.
Okay.
रमेशजी,
Please.
मराठीत बोलू शकतो?
अरे शुअर.
हा. तर प्राणायामाचा संबंध असा आहे की हठप्रदीपिकेमध्ये असं सांगितलेलं आहे की इडापिंडा नाडीचं जे कार्य आहे त्या कार्य बंद करून सुषुम्ना नाडीतून ज्यावेळा प्राण वाहू लागतो त्यावेळा चक्रांशी संबंध येतो. तर त्यामुळे प्राणायामाने देखील कुंडलिनी जागृती होऊ शकते. आता मंजूताईंनी जे सांगितलं ते प्रॅक्टिकली मेडिटेशनचाच प्रकार आहे. तो मेडिटेशनने देखील कुंडलीच्या काही पार्ट हा जागृत होऊ शकतो. कुंडलीने जागृत होणं इट इज व्हेरी डिफिकल्ट. म्हणजे ती कुंडलीने जागृत झाला की तो माणूस राहणार नाही. म्हणजे माणूस राहणार नाही म्हणजे तो अध्यात्माच्या पुढच्या टप्प्यावर प्रगतीवर जाऊ शकतो. तर त्यामुळे त्याला सगळ्या प्रकारच्या सिद्धी प्राप्त होऊ शकतात. त्यामुळे तो व्यवहारामध्ये राहू शकत नाही. त्यामुळे हे पार्टली जागृती आहे. ही जागृती जी आहे ती. आणि पहिली 3 चक्र जी आहेत ती शरीराशी संबंधित आहेत. शरीराच्या सगळ्या भागांशी संबंधित आहेत. आणि वरची 3 चक्र जी आहेत ती आध्यात्मिक प्रगतीच्या दृष्टिकोनातून महत्वाची आहेत. त्या दृष्टिकोनातून. त्यामुळे आता मंजूताईने हे प्रॅक्टिकली ठीक आहे, छान केले, छान सांगितले, यात काही शंका नाही. पण हे खूप डीप आहे हे. तर सुषुम्ना नाडीशी संबंध निश्चितपणे आहे. आणि सुषुम्ना नाडीत प्राणाचा प्रवेश होणं ही फार अवघड गोष्ट आहे. ही योगाच्या दृष्टिकोनातून ते सांगितलेलं आहे. आणि आपण व्यवहारामध्ये आहोत. त्यामुळे इडापिंगळा नाड्यातला प्राणवहन जे आहे ते सुषुम्ना नाडीत जाणं आणि सुषुम्ना नाडीतून कुंडलिनी जागृत होणं हे सामान्य माणसासाठी फार अवघड गोष्ट आहे. परंतु थिअरी मात्र असं सांगते की सुषुम्ना नाडीतून प्राण वहन करून ती सहस्राधार चक्रापर्यंत जाते कुंडलिनी जागृत करण्यासाठी.
थँक्यू.
येस, बरोबर आहे. या तेच ना, कारण आपल्या रेग्युलर आयुष्यामध्ये वी कॅनॉट म्हणजे असं बोलू शकत नाही जास्त याविषयी. तो अनुभवाचा विषय असल्यामुळे फक्त ज्ञानेश्वर माऊली याच्याविषयी जास्त सांगू शकतात. आपण सामान्य माणसं याविषयी जास्त बोलू शकत नाही. आणि उगाच लोकांचा बुद्धिभ्रम करण्यात पण काही अर्थ नाही. म्हणून वी डोंट टॉक. सिन्स वी लिव्ह इन अमेरिका, वी डोंट वॉन्ट टू मेक इट टू एसोटेरिक सो दॅट पीपल वोंट अंडरस्टँड एनिथिंग.
No, that's good. Yeah. No, it's a, as I said before, it's a very intellectual, challenging subject. Yeah.
आता दुसरं असं आहे की विशुद्ध चक्र जर जागृत झालं तर जेवणाची गरज नाही, खाण्याची गरज नाही, कुठलाही आहार घेण्याची गरज नाही असं सिद्धी सांगते. तर प्रत्येक चक्राला एक सिद्धी आहे.
बरोबर आहे.
आणि कुठलं चक्र जागृत झालं तर कुठल्या सिद्धी मिळतात अशा स्वरूपाचं वर्णन आहे. परंतु आता त्या ताई प्रॅक्टिकली ते करून घेत आहेत सगळ्या लोकांकडून. त्यामुळे या सगळ्या गोष्टी सांगणं अवघड आहे. ताईंचे धन्यवाद.
थँक्यू. आपण हा मोठा विषय ओपन केलेला आहे. आता याच्यावर वी कॅन हॅव मोर डिस्कशन ॲज वी गो अलॉंग. Especially in the context of Buddhist technology, Buddhist techniques like Vipassana. Vipassana also helps you to be aware of and raise your awareness to consciousness, Buddhism.
सर, बुद्धिस्ट टेक्निक जे आहे बुद्धिस्ट तंत्र आहे. बुद्धिस्ट तंत्र जे आहे त्याच्यावर 7 ते 8 ग्रंथ आहेत. आणि ते तारा देवतेला मानतात. तर त्यांची प्रॅक्टिसेस पूर्णपणे वेगळ्या आहेत.
अच्छा, that's a separate subject. I think we should
पूर्ण सेपरेट सब्जेक्ट आहे. तो तंत्र मार्गाचा आहे.
बरोबर. तो वेगळा करू आपण, त्याच्यावर एक वेगळा प्रोग्राम. पण हा विषय ओपन झालाय, फार चांगला आहे. आणि आय मस्ट थँक
फार इंटरेस्टिंग आहे.
and Prashant ji for helping us to get started with this. This is wonderful. It's an excellent session. Yeah. So Dr. Kulkarni साहेब, आपण बोलू याच्यावर.
जरूर
see how we can relate to this whole topic to siddhis and practices, and we can also bring Manjuta's actual practice sessions if she has time and if we can organize. So we will talk about how to sequence all this. That is very important, so that people don't get confused. What is right, what is wrong.
मला मंजुताईशी एक प्रश्न असा विचारायचा आहे की चक्र त्यांच्याशी बोलतं की इंट्युशन येतं?
Well, when we say chakra bolta, meaning intuition.
Yeah. Intuition, yeah. But I think intuition, again, we are talking about effort to awaken Jagrati. So intuition is one part, but effort is, that doesn't minimize the importance of effort to do that, right? Yeah.
if I use the transmission receiver ची simple language communication, hey, this is all about communication, right?
Yeah.
आपण जेव्हा म्हणतो मनकवडं जे म्हणतो आपण, सो आपल्यातली जशी आपण शुद्धी वाढत जाते तशी ती तुमची तरलता वाढत जाते. ती फ्रिक्वेन्सी यू आर एबल टू अट्यून टू डिफरंट फ्रिक्वेन्सीज. आणि झालं की आपण जेव्हा बुद्धीच्या मध्ये अडकतो ना, दिस इज वेअर वी बिकम रिअली, आपण बुद्धिभ्रष्ट म्हणतो तसे, वी बिकम सगळे इंटेलेक्च्युअलाइज करायचा प्रयत्न करतो. आणि हे अनुभवाचे आहेत, म्हणून ह्याच्यात शेवटी शुद्धीचं तत्व आहे. म्हणून आहाराची शुद्धी, विचाराची शुद्धी, आचाराची शुद्धी, ऑल दिस कम्स बॅक टुगेदर. इट्स रिअली ट्रुली होलिस्टिक. आपण बघा, इव्हन ह्या नाड्या ज्या आहेत, सुषुम्ना, इडा, पिंगळा, आणि आपण सरस्वती, पार्वती आणि लक्ष्मी ह्या 3 देवता आहेत. सो दिस इज ऑल आपले इंटिग्रेटेड सगळे छान शास्त्र आहे, त्यात संस्कृती आहे, नित्यकर्म आहेत. पण आपण करताना शुद्धी शेवटी आपली राहते बाजूला आणि फापट पसायला आपण पडतो. सो दॅट्स वाय दिस कम्स बॅक टू साधना, साधना, साधना. आणि कीप इट सिम्पल आणि एन्जॉय द अनुभव. थोडा थोडा जो काही इन्क्रिमेंटल अनुभव आहे तो पण शेवटी घ्यायला पाहिजे, नाहीतर आपण इट्स लाईक बिकम्स अ कॉम्पिटिशन ऑफ इट्स ओन. सो एनिवे, दॅट्स अ लिटल आवर व्ह्यू हिअर. एनिवे, ऑलराईट, आपण विल वाइंड डाऊन हिअर. ओके,
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.